Travis Wayne Goodsell. Again, I keep forgetting to remind you guys that I'm putting in the evidence of criminal activity of the LDS Church at the beginning of these videos to keep reminding Mormons, especially, that the church are a criminal organization. There's the evidence for you. I've already done the video explaining it. These other videos are just to remind you as I continue to criticize the LDS Church. I'm born and raised, the church attacked me, so now I'm an LDS critic. Alright, so we'll do this one on, you know how police always say that criminals always say that they're innocent as they lock the accused in jail for an indefinite period of time, purposely, so that they can get a confession of guilt from them so that they don't have to take it to trial. It's not cool, officers and sheriff's departments who run the jails, unless you're a private company, and that's just got hell written all over it, as they make money off of the number of incarcerated persons. So of course they want more people arrested. However, you'll notice in my evidence against the church that the church paid the psycho doctor, and so doctors shouldn't even be used for these people. And yes, I said these people. It's a fraudulent science, pseudoscience, technically, is the word for it, because they don't use any scientific methodology. And so it was her opinion that had me disappeared, as the church put pressure on all involved to make sure that I disappeared. And they paid this person for her loyalty, as you see there in the evidence. And so psychiatrists and therapists, caseworkers, counselors, etc., they all tell people that everybody's mentally ill, and those who deny it is proof that they're mentally ill. No option for innocence by the police, no option for not mentally ill by those in the field. And so this is an unsound argument that is being perpetuated upon everybody. And for cops, if you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to fear, unless you've got a corrupt government that purposely makes false arrests and purposely locks people in jail for an indefinite period of time to force a confession of guilt, so that they can have their lives, liberty, and property back. What they can salvage, anyway. And it's the same with mental illness. Psychiatrists are given license to be drug dealers. And because they're not real scientists, they're not real doctors, they have no Hippocratic oath to do no harm, and so they're fully available to do harm with experimental drugging, human experimentations. That's causing harm. And like I said, they don't use any scientific methodology to create a diagnosis. Their diagnoses are based upon their opinion. That's it, opinion. And they'll of course argue, no, there are standards by which we go through. There's the whole published volume that tells us how to diagnose and blah, blah, blah. No, it's all fraud. All fraud. The whole field is a fraud that the government has given license and expert status to. Because that little portion of the picture that you saw there of hers was her report to the judge. Judge doesn't know anything about psychiatry or how it's a fraud. Judge just says, oh, alright, I guess so. See, the prosecution was like, yeah, woo! And the judge, the prosecution made me out to be a terrorist. Those were the charges, terroristic threat. And so the judge already was biased. She was giving me dirty looks and angry and all this stuff. And then my own team, which included Mark, they turned on me, threatened me, saying, plead guilty and you won't be punished. You'll get free housing. You'll be sentenced at the mental health court. I didn't do anything wrong. And of course they use the logic, because I'm in denial, therefore I have a mental illness and need to be protected. And so now the whole case is the evidence against the church. And so when Mark was trying to persuade me, he was the junior companion. He's got nothing on me. He has not become the master. All I have to do is point to him and do counting with my fingers, and he freaks out. It's an annoyance of his. And so when he let me know that, I kept it going. And so he stormed off and left. But that's why. I found out later why. Is because the church was in on the lawsuit. And he was protecting the church over truth, justice, and the American way. I notified my lawyer after all these years, Adam Elmore. He's got his own business now, his own firm, for defense even. And I sarcastically emailed him, and he responded back as if he didn't understand I was being sarcastic. And so I explained to him everything he was trying to gaslight me for. My own defense lawyer was gaslighting me. I did everything to protect you and defend you. Beep, 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 beep. So I stated out the facts of what his defense team did. And of course he never responded. It's just unbelievable, the corruption. When you use unsound arguments, when you use lies and deceptions and false science, fake science, you cause destruction, you cause chaos, you destroy society. That's what all this psychobabble stuff is. It's destroying American society, not just Utah society. Utah has a special connection to it because it was a Mormon, Stanley Smith Stevens, a psychologist who created the category systems that I've been telling you about with my brainwashing series. It's all unsound arguments. All lies. And they do it purposely to control the masses, to brainwash the masses. That's how they did it. That's why they're trying to figure it out. So I'm sure many of you are aware of MK Ultra and drugging that would occur. Those were on an individual scale, trying to figure out how to brainwash any individual. They were also doing mass brainwashing techniques through the movie theaters, as they would instill clips of Coca-Cola, popcorn, candy in between the frames of the initial viewing, and trying to see if they would trigger in the minds of people the thought, oh, yeah, I need a Coke. I'll be right back, dear. And it worked. They were able to brainwash the masses through this subliminal picture insert in the frame. And so then you hear about music doing it with, it's called backmasking now, but back in our day we had what's called records. And I know you know about them because they've made a comeback, as people were complaining that digital doesn't sound the right way. The records had the sound through it, and that's not the original song. Anyway, but yeah, you had those classic bands where you could play the records backwards. And of course, Bloom County Comics back in the 80s did their thing. I'm going to try to find it for you. I don't know if I'll search for it. So just understand that Mormons are involved in the brainwashing of America, because it was a Mormon who categorized it, and Utah psychiatry follow it. Church is not innocent, guys. They are directly involved with the destruction and takeover of America. Never forget.